Hi everyone, John O'Sullivan here, founder of the Changing the Game Project. And what I want to talk to you about today is the one thing that I believe is more important than talent when it comes to elite performance. Now, I've been coaching elite soccer players for about 2 decades now, and parents ask me all the time, do you think my kid has what it takes to make it to the next level? And what they're asking me is, do I think their son or their daughter has the talent to play at the next level? And what I tell them is, I don't know. Is your son, is your daughter, are they willing to suffer? Because I think the single greatest determinant whether a player will make it is how much they're willing to suffer, how often they're willing to put themselves in uncomfortable positions, to train harder, to train longer, to train more than their competitors do. Because that will determine whether they make it to the next level or not. I have worked with tons of players who are exceptionally talented, have great genetics, who have had great coaching, but they just don't have the willingness to do that little bit extra. Now, I certainly understand that lots of things go into performance. Everything from your 10,000 hours of practice to your genetics to the coaching to luck, all those things play into it. And not one thing determines whether you make it or not. But what I have found is that there are lots more talented athletes out there than there are elite athletes. And the difference between those who make it and those who don't is this willingness to suffer, this willingness to do the little bit extra. Now, what I found is a lot of these kids have been coddled either by a parent or coddled by coaches who have let them get away with less than their best effort, with not training as hard because they're the best player, because they're the youth team star. Or their parents swoop in every time a tough coach or a tough teacher just makes life difficult for them. And because they've been coddled, they've never learned to suffer. They've never learned to push themselves harder. They've never learned to push themselves like an elite athlete. LeBron James, Steve Nash, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, these players aren't the best because they have the most talent. They're the best because they have exceptional talent and an exceptional work rate and willingness to suffer. They go out there and work harder and longer than anyone else. Now, one of my favorite quotes is from Anson Dorrance, and Dorrance is the women's soccer coach at the University of North Carolina. And one of his players was a woman named Mia Hamm, who is considered probably the best female player of all time. When she was still in college, when she was already the college player of the year, when she was already an elite international player, he saw her training one morning by herself, 6 a.m. in a humid North Carolina morning, middle of the summer. And she was bent over and she was gasping for breath doing wind sprints all by herself. And what Dorrance wrote to her was this great note. He said, the true vision of a champion is someone who's bent over, gasping for breath when no one else is watching. So I ask you this, whether you're a parent, whether you're a coach, whether you're a leader, are you instilling this willingness to suffer in the people that you are leading? Because if you are, you're setting them up for great things in life, because someone who's willing to suffer, someone who's willing to put themselves in uncomfortable spots in order to achieve great things has a far greater chance of fully utilizing their talent and fully developing their potential. And if you're a person who is coddling people, if you're a person who's holding people back and preventing them from failure and preventing them from being in difficult situations, you're really not doing them a favor at all. So I hope you'll think about that. I hope you'll leave some questions or comments below. And thanks very much for listening today. Again, my name is John O'Sullivan from the Changing the Game Project.